if you live in the Rust Belt and you got a Ford Super Duty, F250, F350, whatever with a 6.2 engine, well, eventually you're going to run into a broken dipstick tube. This one would not come out. I've had the F150s come out much easier than this. What I end up having to do is to get a bolt, 1/4 inch, and you'll have to measure off the new one. You can see where it fits. I drilled a small hole in there, put a couple slices so the wire came up smooth, and then I ran the wire down to the existing dipstick tube right there, put a whole bunch into it, took another wire, and then basically go fishing up on the oil hole, pull. Then when you get it down, then you can put your bolt on, tie it off, and pull it up through the tube. Pull it up through this on the bottom. So when they're assembled, they look like that. And then make sure you keep that wire on there until you get your nuts on, otherwise it'll fall off. And then get just a cheap slide hammer. This one fought me a lot. I had to use a long bar. I had to pry off from right there in the corner. And then it still wasn't coming. So what I ended up doing is heating up with a map torch, which worked really well. As far as what you got to remove to do this, obviously you got to remove the inner fender. You should remove the exhaust manifold. I had to. It made life so much easier, but you don't have to remove the motor mount. You just have to pull a few bolts out. They're easy enough to get at. This particular manifold fought because it was all seized up in this hole, and the very front one on the bottom. So I ended up destroying the manifold, but it was junk anyways, so it didn't really matter. The bolts, 2 bolts here and here, I had to cut with a die grinder. What else did I say about this? Yeah, so the manifold was completely rusted. Probably, if you're doing this job, plan on replacing this manifold, new bolts, gaskets, and then your dipstick tube. Check your transmission tube. This one is busted as well, so you do not want water to get in that transmission. It's even just a small amount of water in the transmission, kiss it goodbye, because they'll delaminate those clutches every time. So check this. It's my local dealer is only about 50 bucks or so. Replace it. Otherwise, you're replacing over $1,000 transmission. So if you think your starter is getting weak, now's a great time to do it. These are a bitch to get at when everything's together. So check your starter. This cable right here starts really corroded, looks like it's going to snap. Do it, because I have had these snap and had to replace the starter. What else on this project? Other than that, it's just basic. Just give yourself some clearance. I have a lift. I picked the front up, and I cannot get this truck on this lift. The lift is rated for 9,000 pounds. The truck weighs about 10. It would probably lift it, but it's uncertified, so I'm not going to risk crushing myself and making the job any easier, because it's just not worth it. What I ended up doing is just getting it up higher, just enough to keep some clearance on the wheel. Put a jack stand right there, because I can't engage the locks on the lift. You can do it with just a floor jack, or floor jack and blocks will work just fine, or a good set of jack stands, not Harbor Freight. I don't recommend those. And then I used a big hydraulic jack to push up the side of the motor, just enough to give me some clearance, and it makes the job a little easier. It's still a pain in the ass. You're gonna get dirty, but it sure beats $500-600 at the dealer to get this job done, or a small shop. Thanks for watching.